A very good morning to you all and welcome to another daily market outlook. In today's market outlook, we're going to be discussing the major dollar pairs alongside gold, and we're also going to have a look at the dollar index. So without further ado, let's dive in. And by the way, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to join the free Discord server. Link is in the description down below. Okay guys, welcome to our first pair, which is of course the dollar index. And the dollar index has currently been in this area of weekly supply for quite some time now. So we saw that those first two taps initially on the 22nd of November and the 13th of December, and we're now coming deeper in towards that supply zone. So the more often we tap in towards an area of supply, the weaker it gets. So at the moment, what I'm expecting is that at a certain point in the future, we are going to break through the supply zone looking at the weekly. I think there is potential for the dollar index to start rising all the way up in towards this area of buy to sell, which is essentially your area of supply after this area of supply over here. So then diving in towards the daily, we can pretty much see that yesterday's outlook played out to absolute perfection. We've now reached that high. Over here to the left, there's not really any price action or structure, which I really like. And I would say, okay, well, there I expect a reversal from. All I can say is that we've now seen a bullish break of structure, which means this is now your swing low, this low over here. And we now have an area of demand located over here at 96,272 towards 95,419. And that level below it over here. So what I'm expecting pretty much is just at a certain point in the future for us to start pulling back, and then I'll be looking for further dollar longs to take out this area of weekly supply. So yep, that's the dollar index for you. Let's head over to our next pair, which is Aussie dollar. And Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar has been moving in line with the overall daily, weekly, and of course 4-hour structure. Personally, at the moment, I don't really like 4-hour structure due to the overextended nature of Aussie dollar at this moment. So I'm just pretty much still waiting. I think that we could see a very nice reversal from this lowest zone, see some liquidation, and then potentially start pulling back. That's pretty much what I'm going to be waiting for on Aussie dollar. So we could also react to this zone over here. However, this is a stronger zone due to the liquidation happening right above it. From there, we'll just wait for a pullback, and then we'll look for further longs from either this zone, or excuse me, for the shorts from either this zone of supply or this zone of supply. So yep, let's go to euro dollar. And euro dollar. So euro dollar has been moving lower as well as expected. Quickly diving towards the daily, we can of course see that this is your area of weekly supply. In between, we do have some daily imbalances over here on the daily, but I'm not really going to mark those out as zones as I do not really expect them to be that strong. I think that in the near future, we are going to head down lower in towards that weekly area of demand. However, of course, if the dollar index were to pull back inside that weekly area of supply that it's currently in, we could start seeing that pullback, which is perfectly healthy on the 4-hour time frame. So once that pullback starts initiating, we can then look for those further shorts from, for instance, this area of supply in line with the overall daily, 4-hour and weekly structure. At the moment, it's not a really good time to get into euro dollar. Main reason, of course, being is the overextended nature in towards the downside. Furthermore, you always want to be trading with a trend. So the daily, the weekly, and the 4-hour are all bearish. So we're just waiting for a pullback to then look for those further shorts. However, you don't want to be randomly buying over here because then you could get caught up in that bearish trend in towards the downside. So it's just overall better to sit on your hands for now. At the moment, we've seen some liquidation on this low with early buyers. So I think that we could start seeing a potential pullback if, let's say, we do see some follow through on the lower time frame. We would need to see, let's say, a 15-minute switch in trend. So that would have to be this low getting broken by this low. And then this is essentially, let's say, the high which took it out. So we need to start breaking this high over here. And then you could look for some early buys. But I'm personally just staying out due to the bearish nature of price at the moment. I just do not really want to take the risk. So that's euro dollar. Let's head over to pound dollar. Pound dollar has perfectly seen a retracement from this area of 4-hour demand located over here. Currently pulling back. I would love to see a pullback at least in towards this area of supply to then look for further shorts in towards the downside. That's currently what I'm waiting for. For the rest, not really interested in any trades on pound dollar. You could look for some longs on the lower time frame. For instance, look at the 15-minute, as the 15-minute does look bullish for now. So we had kind of that downtrend, then this high got broken by this high. So then we pull back, and now we've now seen a new high being formed over here. This is now your swing low essentially. So we have all these mini areas of demand from where we could react to. So I'm just waiting for that further push up on pound dollar to then look for the real high probability short in line with the daily and the 4-hour trend. So that's pound dollar. Let's head over to Kiwi dollar. And Kiwi dollar, so Kiwi dollar went for that swing low, which I mentioned yesterday. Didn't really see kind of the V-shaped reaction I was looking for. So yeah, no real trade for me to trade the potential pullback. Quickly diving back in towards the daily, we can now see that we're still inside this area of daily demand, but it's not the best area of daily demand, not the strongest as well. It just took out kind of like this minor high, over here. So we could expect a reaction as we saw on the lower time frame, but it's not really anything fancy. At the moment, I'm not really looking to trade Kiwi dollar, as Kiwi dollar is just a hard pair looking at the weekly and the daily. Looking at the weekly, like, it's in strong demand because this area of demand took out all of this structure. However, as we can see, we're just currently smashing through it. So going back towards the daily, I'm just pretty much waiting to see what we're going to be reacting to. We've got a lot of wicks and kind of mini areas of demand over here, but nothing is really fresh. The only real fresh next demand zone would be over here, I would say, at around 0.645. So I'm just currently probably going to wait until Kiwi dollar hits that level. In the meantime, we could see some reaction on these swing lows with some demand left inside them. So yeah, it's a hard one, but Kiwi dollar is essentially the same as euro dollar. Just be patient, guys. Just wait for that pullback to happen, and then we will start trading in line with the overall trend back down lower. So yeah, that is Kiwi dollar. Let's head over to our last pair, which is gold. And gold. So I'm expecting a pullback on gold after this massive overextended move in towards the downside. Currently slowing down inside this area of daily demand. I'm just going to be waiting for that pullback back up in towards daily supply and then look for some potential further shorts. Gold is a very tricky pair at the moment, in my opinion, but looking at the 4-hour and the 4-hour only, because I don't really like daily structure on gold, I would say at least, let's say, pull back in towards this area of 4-hour supply, then from there further downside, or at least in towards daily supply. No interest in shorting over here, also no interest in buying over here due to the bearish nature of price at the moment. Momentum is just so high. I only prefer to, let's say, trade a pullback if I start seeing some kind of a reversal pattern, and I haven't seen that yet, so I'm just sitting on my hands and waiting. So yeah, a bit of a boring week, I would say, for these dollar pairs. They've been moving massively, but yeah, I just haven't really been able to capitalize on these moves myself. No stress, just sitting on my hands and preserving my capital for when the markets are more in alignment with my strategy. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. Tomorrow there's going to be a fantastic video in which I'm going to be discussing a loss that I took this week. So make sure to set your alarm clock for that video. And that is all for today. And thank you so much for joining in, guys. Thanks.